your purpose is already in you. What is one thing that you do that really makes you happy, that really makes you feel good?
Get inspired. Transform your life. Welcome to Best Interest Radio.
So today on the podcast, we have Tyson Michael, and I actually found him in a Facebook group not too long ago. I think it was called Growth Mindset or something like that. And something spoke to me about him. When I saw him talk for just like 2 minutes, I was like, that guy, there's something special about him. He knows what he's talking about. He cares about people. I could sense your authenticity. And I think that is key. And it might even be key to finding your purpose, which is what we're going to talk about today. And so Tyson, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate you taking out the time to talk to me.
Yeah, man. So you just came out with an ebook called, I guess, How to Find Your Purpose, which is pretty straightforward and pretty necessary for a lot of people. So could you talk a little bit about that? And maybe, where did you come from? How did you find your purpose, which led you to reading that ebook?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So the book is called "The Start to Discovering Your Purpose." So I've known my purpose since I was 5, which is kind of weird to say to some people, but I started when I was 5. It actually started from me going to my dad's church, which was funny. The pastor who was at that church, who still preaches at that church to this day, he really inspired me. So I used to go home and I used to mimic everything that he did. And of course, everyone was like, oh, like be the preacher kid, the little preacher guy, whatever. And I was like, as I got older, I realized that is nowhere close to who I want to be. And when I started discovering, okay, like, what do I love to do? I've always been a talker, so I've always been good at talking to people. And I've been very good at being a people person. So there was never anything wrong with me talking to people or being a people person. And so due to that, I was able to sit in 2020 now. And in March specifically, I was like, okay, what is everyone going through? Obviously, the lockdown was crazy across the United States, really across the world. But as far as my side of the world, seeing people's videos and no one on the road and, all this other stuff. And I started to see the decline of people losing jobs, people, having to go on foreclosure. I was watching the news and there were people that were renting out a house and they had to leave. So all this to say, I started creating this ebook, and this ebook really helps people to break down what purpose means. Because a lot of people think that your purpose is something huge and grand. When somebody says, like, what's your purpose? They think you're going to be like a millionaire. They think you're going to be a CEO. They think you're going to, work with spacecrafts. Like, they think that it has to be something huge. Like, you got to be the biggest singer, the biggest rapper. And really, your purpose is about finding something that fulfills you and something that you can do every day that doesn't feel like it's work, which is actually the definition of gift too. It's something that you can do with the least amount of effort, and really nobody can do what you do.
Yeah, so that goes down to the classic phrase, if you love what you do, you'll never have to work a day in your life. And, I felt that about mine, even as a massage therapist, for 7 years. And I feel that about everything that I do. And that's how I know I'm fulfilling my purpose. So.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think that's, and the crazy thing is that everyone has a purpose. Like, most people know what their gift is. And the reason how I can say that, and I can even prove that, is because if you ask someone, what is one thing that you do that really makes you happy, that really makes you feel good? And that person says, I love to cook for my family every Sunday because we have Sunday dinner and I love making the desserts. That brings me joy. Or I like to cook because it lowers my stress levels and it allows me to be happy. It allows me to feel less stressed. And so doing all of those things, I think that you start to learn what you really love. And so what I've had to do is really make a difference in my own life to say, okay, you know what? I can help someone else because I already know that my gift is talking to people. being easy, to communicate with others, and listen to others as well. As part of my speaking, and I do coaching as well. It really is about listening to people, because people like to talk about themselves.
Yeah, sure.
People like to talk about what they do. And if you allow people to talk to you about the things that they love, talk to you about their interests, a lot of them will end up self-reflecting or discovering their own purpose and gift in life. So that book that I have on my Instagram, you can click on the link in my bio. It's the first link, you can get it. It's easy to break down to you. Hey, if you want to know how to start this, if you want to know how to do something that brings you joy and brings you happiness, and you are so worked up in your job, but you've always been really wanting to do something, that is what that book is for. And I made it completely free. I kind of dabbled between that because I was like, I don't know, because I put out so many free videos, but I wanted to give something that was a starter kit, but that still gave a lot of effort, because a lot of people will put out free stuff and they'll half-ass it. And it's like, don't do that. Give your best foot forward.
Yeah, you're putting your value into it.
And give something that people need. And I think that's important. Don't just give fluff. Give real information that comes from you. None of that information came from anywhere else besides me.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think that's what it has to be, which is funny because my mom tried to edit my stuff, and I was like, do not fix a thing. Just read it and send it back to me, and send me a responding email of your thoughts. Please don't edit a thing. So
that's funny. Thanks, Mom.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you think that our purpose is something we're born with and destined to be, or do you think it's something we have to choose for ourselves?
Your purpose, I believe, is chosen for you. The minute that you're born, your purpose is already in you, not chosen for you. Let me change that. So if you heard that, don't even listen to what I just said.
Unhear it.
So unhear that, exactly. Everyone is born with a purpose. Now, this is the thing. There are multiple purposes that you serve in the world. So think of it being in a job. You are an employee. Right? You are also, a husband, possibly. You are a friend, you're a colleague, right? You are a certain position at your job, just as a regular person who goes to work. These are all the things that you serve as a purpose, right? So maybe to break it down even more, as a student, I'm a student. I am a contributor in my school. I'm also a fan to the games. So you have multiple different things that you serve, but there's one thing that you do. So for me, it could be, yes, I am a son, I am a brother, I'm a sister, I'm all these things you are together as a person. Yeah. However, I serve as me. I serve as a young guy. I serve as a speaker. I serve as a content creator. I serve as a person who gives value. I serve as a person who has helped other people with their mindset and understanding what their gift is and owning their purpose in life and all these different things. But again, it's almost like a family tree. There is, one person, I can have kids, which trickle down to their kids. So I can be purposeful. But my purpose is that I reproduce children. So think of it in that way. If all that other stuff didn't make sense, think of it. You are, a son, or you are a daughter, and someday you will be a father or a mother, and you will have, children, and those children will then hopefully be able to have children. So that is how you stand in your purpose. Now, people who feel like they need to have a big purpose, or they have something big in their life they're supposed to be doing, 9 to 10, that is probably the truth. You're probably much bigger in your life, and you're probably going to have a much bigger life than what you see currently. However, you have to learn to, when it comes to purpose, you have to understand that purposeful living is about doing things every day, not getting to the big So don't focus on like, okay, I'm going to be a millionaire. No,
Yeah.
start thinking of like, I'm going to create a million ideas to help a million people. So I'm not saying literally, a million people, right? That's a lot of people. However, you can start small with one person, a day, a couple people a day, a couple people in, months, and then it all trickles up. You have to realize that you got to be real and you got to be authentic when it comes to your purpose. And you will know your purpose because you will feel it within your intuition or your spirit or whatever you want to call it, God. You will know what your purpose is because it will feel like happiness. Like you will not feel like what you just said. It will feel like you're not working. You never have to work another day in your life. The purpose is within. Now, how you find what your purpose is when you begin to self-reflect. But again, discovering that thing that you really love to do with the least amount of work. It doesn't feel like work. It's challenging, but you're not super stressed. You're not hating your life. That is when you know that you discovered that one thing for yourself.
So it's almost as if, we have multiple purposes in life. Like as my friend describes it, he likes to compare it to video games where like we have like this main quest and then there's also all these side quests that we do along the way. And I think like what came to mind when you were speaking there is when we do the little things in life, like I think it's also important to, find a purpose and find meaning within the things that we do so that it'll make our day easier, like rather than just having those big dreams and big goals, like also finding pleasure and meaning within just like doing dishes or making your food, because there is a purpose in that as well. I like to compare this too. I always use the analogy like, as when it comes to purpose and meaning and destiny, just as a seed of a sunflower is destined to grow into a sunflower, I believe like there's an intention built into each one of us, and like we are our own individual seeds, and we have an intention to grow into something. And I guess that's the key word there is grow into it, because along the journey of growing is ups and downs, and the downs are where you become stronger.
Oh yeah.
And that's how you can grow and flourish, right?
And I think, and that's another, point when you're in your, for me, I've started my whole purpose thing and I taking it seriously in August of 2020. And so from August of 2020 to right now, I've experienced a lot of, am I supposed to be doing this? And not am I supposed to be doing this as in this isn't what I'm supposed to do. This is what I'm supposed to do, but is this, is it working? Okay. So like I'm a Capricorn, right? And if you know a Capricorn, most Capricorns work, very career, like ambitious oriented, at least for me. I can't speak for other ones, but because I am that type of person, because that is how I am, I have questions sometimes. Okay, well, my pages aren't growing fast enough or whatever. And you really have to get back into, okay, let's connect with the people. I just posted a video on my Instagram, not today, but yesterday, where I talked about, if you want to succeed, you want to make sure that you are giving people value, effort, that you are making sure that you're giving energy and love and joy and compassion. I can't think of the word that I said, but always being a person who can compromise, who can bring something different to the table in every video that I do or every post that I do. So I think that when it gets to the hard times of your purpose, you have to go back to be like, okay, like why am I doing it as in like the end goal, but let's enjoy the process instead. And I think that is one of the things that I find joy in. I find joy in actually just connecting with different people. I used to complain that my DMs are dry or no one's talking to me. And so when I started to put out content that people can relate with, and not everyone on your stuff is whatever you do, not everyone's going to relate to it or really going to like support it like that. However, if you take the one thing that you do and you put it out there and you just be consistent, people are going to come back to you when they need something. And that is where, you can win in your business, but you can also win just in life. I think that when times are getting challenging in your purpose journey, you have to remember that number one, enjoy the process, and number two, take it one step at a time. It doesn't have to be something that is that you have to overthink or overanalyze. You just need to take it one day at a time, because you have something, in you already. You just have to self-reflect.
Yeah, we each have a gift, and I think we're meant to give that gift to others. It's like that saying, the secret of living is giving, because that's actually what makes us feel fulfilled. That's actually one of the most fulfilling things ever, is like providing value into someone's life where you made a difference.
Yeah.
And you gave part of yourself to do that. Because we're all really just, you can look at it as we're slaves to each other, or you can look at it as we're helping each other and like helping each other thrive. And so for me, I always look at it like, I guess it's easier for me, maybe because I'm a massage therapist, but I'm always like talking about how we're always just helping people. No matter what we're doing, we're providing a service of value, and we're making a difference, and we're fulfilling our purpose in our own way. And it doesn't have to be anything big, like you said. And I actually just talked about this on a Facebook Live the other day about how, it doesn't matter if you're working at the grocery store or Tim Hortons drive-through, like, you're still contributing to society, and you're providing like a meaningful, valuable service to people. And I think we should appreciate more everybody for everything that we do, because we each are unique in our own way. And for some people, that might be enough. Other people, they have bigger dreams, and that's okay. Like, we all fill our roles. And I also want to talk about how, for me, like, I'm a musician. I play in a band called Short for Arthur. And I, of course, do massage therapy, and I started this online platform, which I'm expanding. And I like to use the music analogy for this, because I actually never really chose to become a musician. It kind of just chose me. So you could even say, like, your purpose chooses you, like you said earlier. And I actually just my dad played guitar. My dad lives on the other side of Canada, and he has most of my life. I would see him in the summertime. I'd go visit him, and he was a musician, so he'd play guitar in front of me and he'd sing every now and then when I'd visit him.
Yeah.
So it rubbed off on me a bit. And then I dabbled in guitar and piano when I was younger. And all of a sudden, when I got older, I got more into listening to music, which prompted me to learn the harmonica. And then I started jamming with my friends, and I couldn't sing. Like, I sounded like a porcupine, and whatever they sound like, and I did not sound very good.
Yeah.
And but the thing is, their voice we can strengthen and get better and better, as with anything else in life, if we have a passion and if we put action and consistency into it. That's actually what equals out to be talent. Now, right, screen just went blank there, but yeah. So, long story short, I ended up playing keyboard, and then one thing led to another after just jamming with different friends, and all of a sudden I was in a band. Now, I never once in my life thought to myself, I'm going to be in a band someday. I'm going to be a singer. I'm going to play keyboard. I never thought that for 1 minute. It just started happening. So, but that, I think, started happening because I was just doing the things that felt good to me, and because I was just going with the flow, and I was having fun in the process, and I was just going to hang out with friends, and all of a sudden one thing led to the next. So would you say that's kind of one way you could discover your purpose?
Yeah, I mean, I do believe that people can figure it out in multiple different ways. Some people, it can be a call and a conversation with a friend, and they help them to realize something. I always say that most people, they will have a spiritual awakening. And I don't mean this in the way of gurus and crazy stuff. You're not going to be flipping over the walls or anything. But in the way of, within here, from your gut feeling all the way up to your heart, or you get goosebumps, or you just get really excited, or something just kind of comes into your mind that you didn't ask for, you didn't pray for, you didn't go looking or searching for. It's something that does come to you, but it brings you peace and it brings you happiness. The one thing that I would say when I realized that, because I was doing comedy videos at one point, right? Because I thought that was the wave, right? I thought that if I got the views, if I got the media metrics, right, I was going to be this popping comedian person. But I realized that every time that I would put out videos, yes, I was funny, but it was so hard coming up with content. It was so hard coming up with things. Now, I realized that was not what I was supposed to be doing. So a lot of people, when it comes to finding their purpose, they think that, oh, if I go and I run a trend, or if I some people who are doing hair right now, hair, lashes, wigs, whatever, nails, that's not what they're supposed to be doing. A lot of them are doing that because they are good at it. And I always tell people there's a difference between being good and being gifted. You can be good at something. I can be good at writing a paper, right? I can be good at cooking something. I can make some breakfast. I can make some pancakes, and I can be good at making pancakes, right? But if I go to, a top chef restaurant, top breakfast restaurant in Florida, right? And I tell them, I'm really good at making pancakes. Let me make pancakes, da 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 da. And if I'm standing next to the chef who is gifted with making these pancakes, making all these different recipes, I'm sitting here flipping, trying to make the same recipes as him. His food is probably going to come out a lot better than mine, or my food might come out a lot better. But I can guarantee you that the presentation of my food is going to lead people away versus his presentation, because the chef's been doing it obviously for a longer time, but he's also gifted at what he does. And so a lot of people, when it comes to discovering your purpose, you have to stay focused on, what can I do with the least amount of effort? And I know that I'm good at it. So for you doing massage therapy, you are someone that that is your gift. I can go in there and I can try to do a little bit of this, but techniques, terms, phrases, certain points and pressure points in the body that I don't know about. So and I can go in there trying to take your job or take your position. But the truth is number one, not only do you know what you're doing, and not only are you gifted at it, it's natural to you. You also have clients and people who are basically telling you, hey, you're the shit, you know what you're doing. So I think that when it comes to purposeful living, when it comes to finding that purpose, you have to connect with your inner self. Whether you pray, whether you meditate, whether you ask the God, you ask the universe, you ask guardian angel, whatever it is you believe in, that's for you. But you ask specifically, what am I here to do? How can I, send me a sign of my calling, or send me something to know and understand that I am on the right path. I am doing the right things. Is there a person that can call me or text me to maybe guide me towards something that I used to love to do that I haven't been doing in a long time, that I was born to do? And maybe someone with wisdom who knows me better than myself. Because when you ask those questions and you allow your heart, your mind, your soul to be open to those things, they then become a part of you. You end up having that spiritual awakening, because now you've asked, God, universe, whatever, to now reveal to you with letting go and allowing, those spiritual forces to work for you. That's how you find it. You find it by sitting still with yourself. And a lot of it can be different in different ways. Like I said, people can find it through anything. Maybe it's something that I never thought I would be doing. But I knew that I knew that I was always going to be doing this. I think that I was afraid to do it because I was afraid of other people's opinions of what they thought, or I call them recommendations, but other people's recommendations of what they thought I was going to be or judge me or make me feel weird. And the surprise is that the people who I thought that were going to call me that are the same people who actually call me who actually need advice. So people who made fun of me for it, or people who, just like to call me little knick-knack names, when I look at their life, I'm like, you actually need someone like me. So I, not to be on the cocky side, but it's just the truth. So I think you have to look at it from a standpoint of, when you find what you want to do, don't back down, keep putting out your work, keep doing it. And don't sit and let people like limit you and tell you, oh, you need to stop doing that, or you're crazy, or what are you doing? Or do you really think that's going to happen? Because, one of the things that I listened to from I think it was Steve Harvey who said it, or Inky Johnson. One of the motivational guys said that pretty much when, God gives you something, or when the universe or whatever, again, you believe in, gives you a vision, right, for your life, you can't expect other people to understand it, because he didn't give it to them. He gave it to you. So when you start to think about, hey, I want to open up my own hair care business, or I have a feeling that I should open something up, that is correct. I have one thing that I want to lastly mention is that a coming out video that I'm putting out. Now, it's not the regular coming out video. Okay? I have one of those, but it's not a regular one. But the one that I'm putting on my YouTube channel in a couple of weeks is really about telling people that don't be afraid to come out with that idea, come out with that business and start that, because, you can't listen to everyone else. You have to listen to what is within, and then produce it, because you never know who needs it. So purpose comes in different ways.
Absolutely, man. Fear gets in the way of a lot of things, and it's one of the many barriers when it comes to finding your purpose. And we kind of have to set our ego aside sometimes and accept help from others who can help us, bring us closer to our purpose. And man, let me tell you, I know a lot of people who I've talked about this with before, and they're just like, I have no idea what it is I love to do. I don't know what my purpose is. Like, all I've done is this all my life. What do you say to someone like that? Like, what do you say to someone who's 40 years old and all of a sudden they have this realization that, like, holy crap, like, what do I love to do? What is my purpose? Like, why am I here? What would you say to them to help them find that?
Yeah. My biggest thing would, again, honestly, self-reflect. If you are questioning, like, why am I here? What is my purpose? You need
what I love to do.
Yeah, right. You need to because you know what you love to do. I mean, most people, that when you get off work, if it's Wednesday night and you watch E! News, or you watch some show on Netflix, or you have some streaming site, there's a football game on tonight, right? And that when you get off work, tomorrow at Thursday night, you're going to watch the Cowboys and the Steelers play. They're playing tomorrow night. And that every single Thursday or every Sunday evening, you love watching football. You love talking about football. You love talking about the stats. I mean, you break it down. You know what's going on. That's what you love to do. So then what can you do with that? Well, you can make a YouTube channel and you can educate people about football. I don't know, about certain things that happen in the NFL between teams. You can talk about the cooking recipes that you make every single year for Christmas, and you broadcast those to all your family and friends. So really, you have to sit, and if you don't know what your purpose is, sit down and think about, what are the 3 things I love to do? I'm not talking about going out to the clubs. I'm not talking about going out to eat. I'm not talking about hanging out with friends. I'm talking about, what do you love to do when you are by yourself? Okay. Not things that are crazy, but what do you love to do? What is it that you can show 5 other people? I really love to do this, and I'm not ashamed of doing it. Okay. So, and if it's in an unhealthy way, then of course you need to maybe research for some help. But if it's in a way that you can, most humans are very intelligent, you can do things in society that is, that's normal or that's accepted by others or whatever you want to call it. But you have to understand, if you're stuck and you have no clue, number one, get the ebook because it's free and it breaks it down. But number two, look at your interest. Look at what you love to do on a daily basis. Some of you love to work out. Some of you love to read books to people. Some of you love to work with kids. Some of you don't have kids, but you love the idea of holding a kid. So why don't you go work at a nursery? Why don't you go and try to get a job as a nurse or start working in the nurses department, or go to school for that and then work in the baby section. So those different things, I think, when you sit down and actually self-reflect on your life and you take that chance to put in those interests, that's how you start to find your walk to what you love to do. Because a lot of people, again, what you love to do.
They might have already been doing it too.
You've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, exactly. They just have to realize.
Yeah, you like to journal. You like to talk to people about their problems. You are one of the things that, just like a random example, but my ex was a very good nurturer, right? And that's just their nature. That's just who they were. And I didn't, I got it. I understood it. It was kind of overdue, but that's how they function. That's just how they just care about people. Like, I'm more so of a get your mind in the game, let's go. I'll hug you, and I am, an affectionate person. But they are more so of like, hey, do you need anything? Get you some water, get you something to eat. Hey, like, do you need me to pick you up? Like, those type of people. And so for them, it may be, hey, you might be really good at being a nanny for someone, taking care of their kids. You might be very good at being a therapist. You might be good at a nursing home. So you have to really think about, what do you really love to do, and who do you love to serve? You love to serve your family a lot. You love to serve your friends a lot. You like to serve all people. And whether that's you like giving people gifts and you love to see them smile, whether that's you love to cook for people and it makes you feel good, whether that's you love picking people up because you just like driving and talking to people, like you could be an Uber driver or a Lyft. So all these things, you really got to sit with yourself and be like, hey, I know what I want to do. It's just about like having the light turn on in your head.
Exactly. Well said, brother. One of the things that I think helps turn on the light in people's heads, for me, I did have a spiritual awakening, and that's kind of what led me to lose over 100 pounds and change my life in a lot of different ways, and kind of just saw that there was more to life than what meets the eye, and there's a greater meaning behind things when we choose to look. And I think that believing in something greater than yourself is essential to driving us forward, even if it's just believing in someone who does something that the same as you, that you're passionate about. Like if it's swimming, you look to Michael Phelps. I always use him as an example. And you're going to look to the best swimmer in the world if you want to become the best swimmer in the world.
Yeah.
So I find that's essential to driving you forward. And it sounds like that might have played a part with you as well.
Yeah. Well, even I have people on here like Steve Harvey, and I have another guy who is actually three people up there on my little vision board, that and a guy behind me that I look up to. Eric Thomas. You have Steve Harvey. You have Terrence Jenkins, who he used to host 106 in Park on BET. Roxy did the same thing. You have Nina Simone, who is a reporter as well. Now, I wanted to go into the whole journalism thing, but realizing that through some internships, I was like, I'm not passionate about that. That's not my thing. And I realized that because as I was writing stories, I wasn't interested in going to the meetings, that when the meetings were scheduled. I didn't feel like sitting there hearing myself, getting having critical or critique criticism, or whatever they call it. Getting all of that done, it just wasn't exciting. Now, I loved interviewing the coaches and the players because I love talking to people. So I was like, why would I be in a job or in a place where I can't even talk to people. Like, you're just sitting there typing, and occasionally you may go out on a report.
What are you taking in school right now?
Right now, I'm studying media
Yeah.
communications. Yeah.
Oh, of course. Yeah, that's awesome.
So I love social media. Now, I don't plan on doing it for a job for a long period of time. I am looking at, of course, the reality of graduating from college and just what it is. However, I stand firm on what I do, and I am very, very confident. And I do believe that this is taking my lifestyle for the rest of my life, to be able to do things like this, and do other things, to where I can live a life that I actually enjoy doing. So yeah, because a lot of times with me, when it comes to a job position, I really don't like being told what to do too much. And
So you're a natural entrepreneur then.
and the funny thing is, I actually don't even like that word. Like, I feel like it's so trendy. So
What do you call it?
I call it purposeful living.
Okay.
I think that when you have purpose in what you do, that brings a lot more excitement to it. Or you can call it interest living or happy living, because to me, at a job, it's like you're on everyone else's time, and most people, they consume themselves so much with a job that someone said, I forgot who it was, but they said, don't work for your life and forget your life. And I think that's so true, because in the system of the world and of how we're brought up in society, we're all taught to, from the time you're born, literally the second you're out the womb, they wrap you in a little towel, and they have a code to tell you where the baby is and what room number the mother's in. So automatically you're being told, hey, what's the baby's name? So we can write all this information down and know where the baby is, right? So even at that, you're already, like marked pretty much. And then you go to preschool, you do all this stuff, and you don't even ask why you're doing it, because it's systematically, put in you. No one's asking you if you're happy. No one's asking you, hey, is there another way out? And so I think that with this pandemic and with all these things that are going on, I have benefited from this in the way of connecting with other people and helping other people to become the best versions of themselves in their mind, because it all starts in your mind. So I think that when I did those journalism, things, I just realized that wasn't for me. And when I look up to the people like Eric Thomas, when I look up to Inky Johnson, when I look up to Jay Shetty, when I look up to Mel Robbins, all these different people who are, at a very high scale in my field. Do I want to be in the ET level? Not really. Do I want to be at the Jay Shetty level? I love that. I think it's all about what you want to do. Like, and my success for me, I don't know what the future will hold, or in a couple of years where what I'll be doing really. But I do think that that I can see, me already in the spiritual realm, because humanly it's hard to see things. We're all spiritual beings passing through a human experience. And I think that if you understand that deeply, then you'll understand that your spiritual, God, guides, whatever, already has the plan mapped out. Spiritually, you're already there. You're already in that place. It's for you physically to now understand the process of what I have to do in spirit. So when people, are questioning what I'm supposed to do, well, ask yourself what you don't want to do. Realize the things that you don't like. And if you're at a job right now that you don't love, most importantly, there's a difference between enjoying the people at the job and enjoying the actual position, and the position just sometimes is challenging. So I think that's what you have to do. You have to really sit down with yourself and be like, okay, in this day and age, in this decade, and right now what's happening, everything is online. And I think that as we move forward throughout this decade, things are going to be online. You're always going to have people who are working on the, remotely from 9 to 5, but even working 9 to 5, you're still at home. So when you get off at 5, you may take a break for an hour and then get to doing stuff you love at 7:30. If you have kids or whatever, you got to find time for your life. And you got to remember that you can't work to live. You can't work all the time just to make a living. You have to learn to live, and don't even live to work, but just live in happiness, live in passion, live in joy.
Yeah, you need to feel fulfilled. And I know some people who they have certain passions, which are their hobbies, that they could turn into an income source, and they could do that for a living, and they could have like a successful YouTube channel doing tutorials and an Instagram channel and doing all this stuff, but they don't do it out of fear because, well, fear of rejection, fear of what other people will think, fear of not knowing if they're enough and all this stuff. But another thing I think that is it's a limiting belief, and it's, there's already people doing it. There's already someone else doing this, and they're really successful on YouTube, or they're really successful on Instagram, so there's no point in me doing it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about you, but the last time I checked, there's over 7 billion people on Earth, and there's a lot of room for you to work with there.
Yeah, and you can grow in so many ways. I have just like 2 little scenarios that I want to break down. The first thing is that there are a lot of people, and with YouTube, Instagram, all these different things, there are new people that are joining these platforms every single day, right? I read a report the other day that even in Africa, in certain places they don't have, let's forget Africa. In certain places in the world, okay, they have certain, there's no Wi-Fi. Specifically in that Africa article that I read, these kids, they walk 2 hours to go to school. Everybody has to use one computer. And that's just really wild. But the truth is, it's like you have the ability, and you are bringing something to the table that no other person can bring. Think of it like this: every person who was born, even every person in your bloodline, your own family, the people you're laying around with, or you're driving in the car with right now, or whatever you're doing at this moment, they all have different DNA prints. If something happens and, I go rob someone with my dad and my mom and my siblings, if I take the gun and I shoot whoever, right, we're doing something crazy, and I leave and I say, oh, it was my dad who did it, they can test everyone else around me and they would know that it's not them. So it's the same thing with, test me and ding, 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 you're the guy. So it's the same thing when you're starting your business, you're starting your whatever. You have to stop thinking in the mindset of, everyone's doing it, because then that you love to do this. You want to share it. It's exciting, but you're stopping yourself because now you're looking at social media. And because social media has grown so much, a lot of people, I've heard people say, if I started in 2010, if I started in 2012 or 13 when it was fresh, or 2005 or whatever, the truth is that this is a new decade to start over. And I've been telling people that this is really, honestly, this is really like the second decade that social media has actually, they're kicking it up now. Really in 2010 is when you had that horrible old-fashioned Instagram. And now it's kicking up a notch. So I think people have to understand that, hey, it's a time to start over. Yes, if you've lost your job, that's challenging. But I want you to think about it like this. Whether you're an entrepreneur or whether you're in a job, you have a risk, okay? So as an entrepreneur, you don't know how much you're going to make each month, right? And as a job, you actually don't know how much you're going to make each month. You can have multiple streams of income with your job. You still don't know how much you're going to make. And with a job, there's a person who is over your life, and they can choose whether, hey, do I want to keep this person or do I want to fire them? And so even with a job, there's no security with the job. So most people, they get really frantic because they say, okay, well, I have bills and I have things to do, Especially in this timing, there's a lot of people that can relate to you. So if you lost your job, if you're struggling with your bills or whatever. So you have to think to yourself, yes, I get that it's not simple. However, if you have literally been fired from a job and you've done everything you're supposed to do for years, it is a spiritual awakening that you're supposed to be doing something else. Because if they wanted to keep you, they would. So I think that people have this scarcity mindset because they've been trained their whole life of go get a job and the job is going to secure you. And if you think like that, I recommend that you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, because he really breaks down the differences between really rich mindsets and poor mindsets. Breaking down assets, how are things that are actually working for you, continuously blessing you in some type of way, bringing longevity, versus liabilities, which are taking things away from you and making you feel drained. So, I mean, it's obviously in money context, but I see it in those type of ways as well.
Yeah.
So you really got to think, if you want to get started, get started. I mean, put it out there. One of the guys that I listen to, he just says, just press record and just say what you got to say, put it up, and just keep doing the same thing. You just got to start. And I think a lot of people, you really got to think about this. If you knew that you were going to be the next pop star, or if you knew you were going to be happier in your life, or you knew that you were going to maybe have money, but you were going to have wealth to where you're able to have more than enough for yourself, but to help other people by doing what it is that you loved. Maybe you were able to show someone who, maybe it was your parents who struggled and didn't have the same life as you, and you were able to create a better life, a life that's amazing, that brings smiles and joys to their face. Well, then if you knew that was going to happen, then get started and do it. But don't live in fear, because again, if you have a job is not security. A job is a temporary place. And if that person doesn't find you fit, they can cut you out. And, that's why I think it's so important you can be a millionaire, or you can be just a person who just is happy doing what you're doing. You don't even have to think about money. I'm not really a money guy. I do things out of value and purpose, and I believe the money is already here. So see, yeah. You gotta think like that too.
It's like, have you read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill?
I haven't. No.
It's a good book. Yeah, I'd recommend you read it. It's really good. It's really just about developing that sort of success money mindset, and that allows you to develop the drive and motivation to actually making money and making your dreams come true. Basically, it was about this guy, Napoleon Hill, who interviewed the richest, most wealthiest people in his time, and how they got rich and what they did. And it was really just about them offering value to the world and putting action into it. It's like you can think as much as you want. You can do all the vision boards in the world, but if you're not putting action into it, if you're not giving someone value, you're not going to be rich. And like you said,
contribution.
Yeah, thinking of a million ideas for a million different people. If you're helping people in a million different ways, and each of those person buys it for $1, well, you're a millionaire. So
right.
And it's not all about making money. For me, the fulfilling part of life is just helping people. It just feels good to know that leave people better than when you found them, and leave the world better than it was yesterday by impacting the people in your life. It's the ripple effect. I totally believe in that.
It should be from the very beginning. I think that people have this different concept, and it's like, no, just, people say you have to make money. It takes money to make money. It's like, no. You give value, and then when you have to invest in yourself, then you put the money on the table to invest in something that is going to be an asset for you. So don't think that you got to make this money. You got to go and get it. You got to grind. And, one of the people that I think is misunderstood is Gary Vaynerchuk. I think a lot of people think that Gary works hard and you're not supposed to sleep. And I don't think that that's true. I think it's just that he's very passionate. But I do believe that one of the reasons why he's been extremely successful is because he focuses on having real intimate conversations, and he focuses on getting the root of people's problems. And then he shoots it to them like, oh my gosh, you're coming for my life. And that could be kind of a little rough to take. But, I had a poetry professor who was very like that. He was very straight shooter. He was like, come in here, do whatever I need you to do, and then leave my office. And I did not understand that. And I had to understand, okay, you know what? that's just how he is. And you can learn from those people. So again, and that's an asset, because now when I go out and I deal with someone else, I may think to myself, oh God, they're aggravating, they're annoying, but I know that in the end, I'm still going to learn something from that person. So I think you have to, get out of that, learn from other people and learn that, it doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to be like that. You can grow, you can learn, you can expand, and you can become better than where you currently are.
Amen, brother. You got to keep moving forward. I was going to say earlier, just the people who feel like they're held back by, the limiting belief that other people are doing it. And if you had started 10 years ago when Instagram and YouTube was just starting out or whatever, that's a limiting belief. The fact is, I'll use this as an example. As a massage therapist, I mean, I live in a small town, Moncton, New Brunswick, but that doesn't make any difference because it's the same everywhere. I can only massage so many people in a week. Like, I need other massage therapists because I cannot massage the entire city. Like, it's just impossible.
Yeah.
No matter what, I can never massage
too many people.
I do 20 massages, between 20 and 30 a week, which is a lot of massages.
A lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, I cannot do any more than that, and that's why we need other people. And if they're doing the same thing, if they have the same passion as you, they're just your teammates. We're all on the same team. We're all working for each other. We're all working. We're all helping each other. And as soon as you see it like that, that's when your life gets a whole lot easier, and you start to love what you do even more.
And some people do it differently too, and that's what I would say.
One person can't be everybody's cup of tea.
Exactly. So some people, they watch me and they say, oh, he's really passionate. Oh, he did it. And then someone else could watch me and be like, he talks too much. He's rambling. Everyone's going to have different opinions. But then, I have a friend, one of my closest mentor friends. He's 30, but his Instagram is Tayeps. And he does a lot of lyricist, poetic justice type stuff. His stuff is rhymes and rhythms, and I don't do all that, right? I'm not gonna say, you gotta be woke to choke. You gotta choke to what, he's good at that stuff, and he says that he doesn't even notice that he does it. He just talks. So everybody's style is different. There's another guy, his name is Philly Motivation. He is from Philly, but he, is in the hood, and he's jumping around. He's, hey, look, what's going on? He's doing jumping jacks. He's standing up on top of cars, and, so he's a little bit different. And people like that, they like, oh, what did he just do? He just jumped in a car. Me, I'm gonna walk in the park and I'm gonna talk to you, So some people like different type of flows, and you got to understand you're not everybody's cup of tea. Some people don't like sitting and watching informal videos. Some people like watching videos that have a lot of extra stuff in it. I've watched people who repeat themselves a lot. So that's just what they do. And so it's different for everyone. So.
Yeah, I think it goes down to embracing your authenticity and expressing your unique self. Just kind of doing whatever feels right to you, regardless of what other people think. And it's going to catch on in some way, shape, or form. People are going to follow it. They're going to be the right people are going to be attracted to you, and you'll develop an audience. And for whatever it is that you do, you'll develop a clientele.
Right.
Yeah.
Whatever. But I think too, I always think, just number one, stop comparing yourself. I mean, you can't go back and change 2010. Like, that's done. Yesterday we can't change it. It's done. We just now have to learn to push forward and to move forward. And so do it now. Do it. I've been saying this the whole year.
Start now.
2020 is the best year to do anything that you really wanted to do. Now, you might have certain circumstances and things that you can't control, but to be honest, we can't control what's happening right now, right? So there are certain circumstances that everyone is in their house. So while you're home, while you're doing things, start the videos, start the blog, start the email list, start the positivity, Instagram live meditation, start the free courses, start the whatever it is, like just get started with it, because you probably will never have another time like this. I'm pretty sure next year, and the years to come, by the grace of God, this stuff gets kind of, we can take these hot ass masks off. You know, we can get into doing, you know, it's going to be back to, not back to normal completely, because now our psychology has changed. However, we will be in that pace again of going into those buildings. You know, we may be more sanitary this time and more precautions, but there's going to be a lot of things that, even if it's just, I believe personally, it's just going to be an online thing. I believe buildings will still be open. People can still go in and have meetings. But the point is that life will get back to that job work again. Yeah. And if you have not established anything right now, and you're just laying around watching TV and, you know, you're just complaining, don't be surprised when you're 40 or maybe you are 40 right now and you don't have much time left, or you're 50 right now and you're 60, or you're thinking about your life and you're like, oh my gosh, like, what am I doing? If you can't do anything else right now, you need to find what brings you joy, what brings you happiness, and do it every single day. Because if you were to walk outside your house, walk outside your job, walk outside a gas station, anywhere you're at, drive on the side of the road, and God forbid your car flies off the road, or you get shot, God forbid, or something horrible happens, you know, God forbid, I want you to live. But that's just reality. If something was to happen to you, would you be happy? If you were in the hospital and you're plugged up to all these things and you're breathing, you're conscious, but you're plugged up to stuff, you know, would you be able to say, hey, you know what, I actually lived, I did what I loved, I did what I felt called to do, and because of that, I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty satisfied. I was about to say the word content, but you don't ever want to be content. I am comfortable. I am happy. Like, those are the things that I think you need to be able to reflect on. And of course, not everything you're going to obviously be proud that you've done, because everybody's made those mistakes. However, if you truly knew that you lived a happy life, you got to do everything you wanted to. Like, God forbid if something was to happen to me at 22, I would be very, very, very confident, very happy that I got to connect with as much people as I could. I got to do what it is that I was called and sent here to do. And I would just pass knowing that I did what I was supposed to do, you know? And so that's what the end goal is of this human experience. Because again, you were spiritual your whole life. Right now, you're just here because this is the course of the spiritual realm that is something that as humans we don't really understand. However, we know that we have something outside of ourselves.
Well said, brother. Thank you for the wisdom. I'll add to that. I wanted to share a quick little bit about, somebody actually told me yesterday, one of my clients, he was saying how he had 3 dreams in his life and they came true just in their own way. And he wanted to travel the world. He wanted to have his own magazine, and he wanted to help people with mental illness. And he fulfilled all 3. Now, he traveled the world, I think, through his job, and he never actually ended up going to university, but he ended up finding a job helping people with mental illness. And he has a magazine, like a self-published magazine, and he ended up doing that too. And it's not like a major, like Rolling Stone magazine, but he delivers it to 800 people around the world. So, you know, it's still something, and it's really good. It's inspiring, because it just goes to show that he just fulfilled his purpose, what he was meant to do. And so follow your passion. You know, as Miss Frizzle from the Magic School Bus always says, get messy, make mistakes, and Frig, did she say something else too? Did you just watch that show?
I watched it, but I don't remember.
Oh man,
no.
Yeah, get messy, make mistakes. Anyway, don't be afraid to mess up, because you're gonna get better as you go on. It doesn't matter. Just keep on going.
And I have this thing on my wall that says, it says, nothing will break me because I have God and I have myself. And I think that that's really powerful, because even through failure, mess ups, not understanding, falling off track. I mean, I'm telling you, like, because of the way that I was systemized in the school that I really did not want to go to when I was in high school, um, through the mistakes that I made, even though I didn't mention about what we talked about beforehand, but through those mistakes that I made, I felt like I wasn't able to be like, I felt like I was always condemning myself. Oh, you're bad. Oh, you're going to get this. Oh, you're going to die. Oh, and you have to understand, like, that's number one. That's, you're like self-sabotaging yourself, which is never good. And then again, you know, it's about, hey, when you fail, like, you're going to make those failures. You're going to mess up. You're going to fall down. But your failures just let you know that this just isn't working. And there's another way to work it out. And I'm going to figure out a way, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not the next day. But as I wake up every day, prayerfully, hopefully, I'm able to do those things. And as long as you wake up and you have breath in your body, your mission is not over. You know, your purpose is not over. You have something to discover every day. And everything that you do, you know, like your mission on the planet is to create an experience that you love. You know, like I personally don't believe, you know, whatever you believe created us, or whatever your own personal belief is, whether it's God, whether it's universe, whatever, spiritual intelligence, whatever you want to call it, it is spiritual at the end of the day, whatever you're talking about. And I truly believe that because spiritual beings are perfect, there's no time, you know, in the spiritual realm. Like, there's no time. There is, you know, infinite being. There's infinite things. Like, there is no stopping. So because of that, I feel as if we are created as spiritual beings who are connected to, or we're human beings in this current moment, but we are connected to a spiritual realm, which is God, which is Jesus, which is Allah, whatever you call it. You know that you know there's something greater than yourself, is what you said earlier. And so because of that, you have to be a person who knows that, well, because there's somebody that has created me, and I maybe didn't have the best home life. I maybe had a drunk dad, or I maybe had an abusive situation, or molestation, or whatever it is. Or maybe you just had lack of belief in yourself, or self-doubt, or maybe you were insecure about your body, or whatever it may be. Your story is specific to somebody else in this human realm that needs your spiritual connection to you, for you guys to connect. So when there's someone that, you know, had a dad that beat them as a child, yeah, okay, you might have had a lot of traumatization from that. But because you were born into that situation that you had no control over, you are placed in that situation to help another human to get out of the situation that they just came out of. So I think that's what your
test becomes your testimony.
Right, exactly. So you can have testimony or whatever you want to call it. You pull that out. You say, hey, I gotta take this because I know it's not it's something that gave me pain, and I can learn to take that pain and turn it into something that's purposeful. And then take that purposeful thing and then make that something that's powerful to help somebody else. So I think that's one of the things you can look at too.
I agree. Yeah, your dreams were given to you for you to accomplish. So your purpose can change over time too. Because for me, I guess I was a massage therapist for would have been 4 years, and then all of a sudden I had this transformation, lost a bunch of weight, changed my life completely, and it was kind of just like, Jordan, your purpose now is to go help people out of the hole that you dug yourself into.
Yeah.
So it was like, now you're going to go help people lose weight. You're going to help people develop their mindset and help them believe that anything's possible, and help them with health and nutrition and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it can change, and it can be multiple things at once. And my purpose is also, you know, being a father. I'm a father of 3 kids.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I do a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
For some people, it's just one thing. You know, it all depends on our personality. But the fact is, it's there. You got to look for it. You got to ask for it. Ask and you shall receive.
Thing, yeah. Asking again, spiritual realm, spiritual whatever. You know, ask that question. You know, what am I here to do? I've actually been asking, even for myself. I asked one time, though. I haven't asked repetitively. But I did ask, you know, is there another purpose that I am here to do besides speaking? And one of the things that I really found enjoyment in, that I've been doing volunteering in, is I've been working, not any longer because of the pandemic, but before in January, February, March of 2020 of this year, um, I did some volunteering at the juvenile justice department here. And so it was interesting listening to girls who have probation officers at 17, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I'm like, who has a probation officer at 16 years old? So, hearing those type of stories and realizing how blessed my life is, working at a volunteering at a elementary school with a kid who, his dad is in jail and his grandma is 74 and takes care of him. Like, how? So, things like that, it really opens up your eyes. But I think that, thinking about even me helping other men who are particularly young and gay, because that is just me, helping those individuals who are, a lot of them, in what I see and what I know, are using their bodies for things that aren't right. Things that they can be using, they can be doing other things. So not necessarily do I have to tailor to those people, no, but I can make content knowing that content's going to reach someone that I probably don't even know, I probably never even seen online, but they may be doing that in the dark. They may be doing that, maybe just not on camera. Maybe they just have people in their home and they're just wilding out. And a lot of it comes from, that inner brokenness. There's something that isn't right. So you think that, doing these things are, you're grown, you're an adult. And I think a lot of times the biggest thing, the biggest disease, to be honest, is emotional baggage, emotional pain. A lot of people think that, okay, you're drugs and you're overdosing and you're doing all these things. And it's like, no, people who are, people who catch something, for example, right? God forbid. A lot of times it's because they're repetitively doing the same thing and they don't even care. Like, they literally in their whole soul, like they do not care. But in their spirit, they know that it's not right. It's not something they should be doing. However, they continue that, because they don't want to self-reflect and sit down. Then they get this and then they freak out. So, and a lot of it is not even, like I said, the disease part. A lot of it is just more so emotional pain. So the faster that people learn how to say, okay, this is what I'm dealing with, this is what's happening right now. Emotional pain is what you can do to heal. Like when you self-reflect, when you sit down, you write in your journal, you play meditation music, you sit and, with a lamp on or whatever, and you really sit down and get in your feelings. I've had to learn to deal with certain things that I was dealing with. I was making some mistakes. And I had to learn that, 1, I'm 22. 2, my life is not over. 3, every 20-year-old in the world has made some type of a mistake to a certain extent, whether that was drugs, whether that's sleeping around, whether that's just sexual action, whether it's beating themselves up, whether it's cutting, whether it's whatever it is, whether it's sleeping in bed, beating myself up every day because I feel ugly. You have to be able to find something and say, these are the things that I have been in pain points too. You're going to talk to nobody about it. Pray to the universe, pray to God. The spiritual realm is the best place to pray, the best place to release everything that normal people don't know. Your family don't know. And they don't have to know. Your mom doesn't have to know. Your cousins don't have to know. You have to allow yourself to heal. And then when you get to the point of that knowledge and that wisdom to where you're like, this is my story and I don't care, then you go ahead and you share that because it's part of your truth. And then you're able to go out and help other people to be like, okay, I'm not going to go DM you and text you and call you and tell you something, but I'm going to allow, the spirit or whatever you want to call it, allow God to direct these people to me so that I can be able to help them. And that's how you go about that. So work on yourself first, sit down and find that self-reflection, and look at what you're interested in and what you really love to do. And those are 3 ways that I honestly would.
Yeah, absolutely. I like to do a journal exercise where you write down a question for yourself, and then you might not know the answer right away, but you will fill in the answer at some point. You'll notice the answer will just like come to you like divine inspiration.
Yeah, Deepak Chopra talks about when it comes to finding your calling, he asks, who am I? And you don't literally write that down, but you think of it. Who am I? And you allow that to come to you. What do I love to do, right? And then what do I want to be in my life? Or kind of like the 4 questions or 3 questions that you can ask yourself, and allow yourself to just sit down and reflect and think about that.
Yeah, I think that's actually really good. You've been talking a lot about self-reflection. I just want to emphasize on that because I think it's key. Like self-awareness and self-reflection is key to making any change in your life, because in order to change something, you have to face it, like face our demons, look them in the eye, be ready to let go of them and move on and like accept it.
One of the hardest things that I had to it's one of the hardest 20-year-old things I had to deal with, because it's really not, it's like funny now. But when I was in my first relationship, I was 19, and 19 into 20, so it was about a year. And when they decided to leave, and it bothered me. We both lost our virginity at the same time. It was really, really, really like a struggle. And what I realized was, it took me like 2 years. Like, literally took me until like March until like I actually was like able to get over it. And I think even now I'm still healing from that. I went out, I was drinking, I was not purposefully drinking, but just trying to go out and have fun with friends, which led to drinking, right? Yeah. You're in college, you get a pitch of a cup for $10 and you're out there doing whatever. Then that led me into trying to get another relationship and, or dating for a little bit. But what I really come to realize at the end of the day was, when I sat down, I self-reflected, I had written I did this thing called a sexual healing or a cleanse type of thing. And when I wrote down, I've only had, sex twice for me, but what I wrote down, a list of just people that I've just been, just being transparent, the people that I've done stuff with, not sex-wise, but just whatever I've done with them. So I wrote that stuff down, and I realized all of those things came from the first person that I was with. It was because I love intimacy. I love growth. I had a goal with going throughout college with this individual. And because of that, when that stopped, when, the emotions stopped, when the going out stopped, when the sex or whatever stopped, when all of those things were done, it was almost like a decline of like, what's going on? And so you start falling into these things to where you're doing things out of trying to prove things to people, or trying to jump back into someone else, which I did a year later, 2019. I ended up trying to jump into someone else, and they were very insecure about themselves. So I was once again the lecturer, the pouring in, the draining, and all these things. And instead of giving myself time. So now, I've at 22, I've come to the realization that, hey, I have to actually now, you can talk to people, but be honest. I was telling someone one time a couple of weeks ago, I was like, I'm just not I can't emotionally be there like I should be. And because of that, I was like, listen, like not only am I young, but we're not headed in the same direction. I think 5 years ahead, I'm thinking in the 5th year, you're thinking in today. And so I had to start writing out, the person that I designed, and I had to look back on that self-reflection. Doesn't mean that you can't love, whoever it is you were first with or whatever. But I always say, if it's supposed to be divinely connected with them or with someone new, it will come back to me, or it will come into my life. And so I think self-reflection, that is like the first key that any person can do, finding your purpose, healing pain, trying to figure out why do you feel this way. Just self-reflect, and you will be
absolutely, bro.
A door to yourself. Yeah,
exactly, man. I'm gonna have to wrap this up shortly because my phone is literally at like 3% now, I think. So,
oh God, no.
Yeah, it's all right. I actually forgot my charger at work, so I'm gonna have to go bike there and get it before bed.
No.
But yeah, man, I really appreciate you coming on and just giving us your wisdom.
Yeah.
and giving us your gift of passion and
Problem.
speaking and helping people find their purpose. So I'm going to include all your links in the show notes
Yeah.
and all of that. Where can people find you on Instagram just to have a verbal tell of it?
Yeah. So I have my Instagram is just Tyson Michael with 1_. My YouTube is Owning Purpose. And then, of course, I have the free ebook. So if you go on my Instagram and you click on the link tree, it'll show you all of the things that I have. So you can just check out whatever you find helpful and whatever you want to look at. So that's where you can find me. That's pretty much it.
Right on, man. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate it. You know, I think you're well on your way to success. So just keep being you, keep spreading your gifts and be authentic. And thank you very much, man.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm going to end the recording and then, I guess it doesn't end, but that's okay. I'll cut it out. Anyways, appreciate it very much, man.
Yeah, no
Thank
problem.
you so much.
Yeah.
I'll let you know when I post it. I have a couple other ones I'm going to post first. So it's just on the list, you know?
Yeah.
But thank you very much.
Yeah, just DM me and let me know that you posted it.
Oh, absolutely, man. I'll DM you and I'll let you know and I'll send you the links and stuff and all will be awesome.
Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you for the opportunity.
Oh yeah, thank you, man. Have a great night. I literally have to go bike to work now, so.
Well, be safe.
Oh yeah,
cold up there, isn't it?
Oh yeah, man. It's freezing out now. It's like I don't even know what the temperature is outside. It's probably like I don't know. It has to be at least 0.
Oh no.
Like Celsius, maybe -5. I don't know, -10.
Gosh, that is ridiculous. Ooh.
Yeah, it's cold here. Polar bears are gonna come out soon. Just kidding. There's no polar bears here.
I had a teacher that used to live in Minnesota, and he was a teacher in my high school, and he used to just walk around in a t-shirt and shorts. And I'm like, it's 40-something degrees. I'm freezing. What are you doing? And he's like, this is nothing.
Oh man. Well, part of what I do is like, I do all the biohacking stuff, like take ice baths and cold exposures.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're using the cold stuff.
Yeah, I guess Canada's a great place to do that.
I guess so. I hope I can visit one of these days.
Oh yeah, man. Well, hopefully the world opens up.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Crazy stuff going on.
Yeah, I'll let you get back to your night so your phone doesn't die.
Yeah, man. Thanks very much.
Yeah,
Take it easy. Have a good night.
Thank you. You too, man.
Bye.
Bye-bye.